for all of us as taxpayers, a lot of those folks are just going to be pushed onto Medicaid. What's interesting, being in Congress the last year and a half, and I got to be honest with you, I'll give you a little congressional inside baseball. Most Democrats in Washington, they're scared to death of this issue. And Tammy Duckworth, the woman I'm going to run against, hi Tammy, she doesn't even want to talk about Obamacare. President Obama will spend the next 8 months trying to get reelected, because that's his job, he wants to get reelected. And he's going to try to do it without even talking about Obamacare. Just fascinating to me again. If you really believe in it, why aren't you out there pounding your chest every day? Tammy's got to defend it. She said she supports it. In fact, Tammy said she supports universal government-run health care. I want to hear you defend that. This should be the most important issue of this election. Here's why, folks. Here is why. Wake up and grow up, country. We all got to grow up. There's so much that we fight about. There's so much we've got government doing that we don't want government doing. Oil subsidies, you name it. Go on down the line. Come home from Afghanistan. Get rid of the Department of Education. Boy, that'll be on tape. There's so much we don't want government doing, where government wastes a lot of money. But the big elephant in the room that Republicans and Democrats, for too long, shame on them, have been afraid to talk about because they're worried about getting you all angry. Medicare, Social Security. Because you know the rule is, the minute a politician touches Medicare, the rule is seniors are going to go after you. Oh, you're done. You can't talk about that. And that's what's happened. And that's what's happened. Whether you like me or don't like me, you got to be honest with you. You got to agree with me about one thing. I went to Washington to get in the hide of Republicans and Democrats. As a Republican, I probably hit my own party over the head more than anybody I know in Congress, because Republicans screw up a lot. And Republicans play politics with issues all the time. But to my Democrat friends in the audience, I'm going to tell you, on this one, on the fact that 10,000 baby boomers are retiring today, and oh, by the way, they're not living till they're 63, they're living till they're 93. You got about 30 years to go. We're living longer, and more of us are retiring. And baby, that's a great thing. As a country, we should pat ourselves on the back. But as a country, I don't care if what I'm about to say doesn't get me reelected. As a country, we need to grow up and have a big boy and big girl discussion about how we pay for all that health care. And to ignore it is criminal. And I love it when Tammy and the other Democrats say, oh, that Joe Walsh, he wants to end Medicare as we know it. As we know it. I've been told to say, as we know it. Folks, I'll look into the camera. If we don't change Medicare and fix it and reform it, it won't be there for my kids and grandkids. It won't be there for your kids and grandkids. And you know what? Every Democrat and Republican in Washington knows that. They all know it. And I know it's a lot easier to just say, don't touch it, don't touch it. Ooh, if those Republicans, that Paul Ryan plan, if they're going to touch it, we'll get them politically. Shame on them. On this one, Democrats are playing politics. And as I've told the media all week, ain't going to work. Because I don't care if you're 90, 70, 50, or 30 years old, you're tired of this stuff. And you get it. You understand now, because we kind of have grown up. You understand that we got 10,000 baby boomers retiring a day, and they're living till they're 93, and they're playing golf with new knees, new hips, new eyes, new everything. That's all good stuff. But how are we as a country going to pay for this? That is the biggest piece of the federal pie, and it's the fastest growing. And to ignore it is criminal to what you're doing to our kids and our grandkids. If you want to put your head in the sand and say, don't touch my Medicare, don't do anything to Social Security, you are going to have to look at your kids and your grandkids in 30 years, because you'll still be around, and apologize. Sorry it's not there for you. I think we're better than that. This is what this election should be about. And what I said during the last campaign is what I'm still saying now. We as a country can't afford Medicare and Medicaid right now unless we fix it. And President Obama knew that. And 2 years ago, he dumped another big entitlement on us without even thinking about it. And now we're in a lot of trouble, because I've got somebody here who knows a lot more than I do, but I've read and I've been told that the average family of four in this country will pay about $20,000 a year in health insurance within 3 to 4 years. Premiums are going up. Family doctors, I believe, family physicians will be like dinosaurs in 8 to 10 years. Private insurance, they'll be gone in 8 to 10 years. I so wish, the thing that makes me so sad about this job is, this shouldn't be a surprise, there's so little honesty. I so wish Republicans and Democrats could be honest. I wish my opponent could be honest. I wish the president could be honest. Because I think if he were here right now and he were honest, he'd tell us, Walsh, I hear what you're saying, and the way to fix all of this is, I really do want everybody on government-run health care. That's a legitimate position. I wish he would just say it and defend it. I'm going to stop right now and just say, the Republicans put out the Ryan budget a week or two ago, last week, excuse me. I don't know whether I'm going to vote for it or not. The reason I may not vote for it will probably surprise a lot of people in the audience. We can talk about that later. But I just want you to remember something. Republicans, Independents, and Democrats in this audience. Your Democrat Senate hasn't put forth a budget in 3 years. In fact, I'm on a bill that says, I just got on a bill a week ago that says, if you, the House, doesn't pass a budget every year, you don't get paid. That's like the basic of what we should do. Okay? So the Senate hasn't even passed a budget in 3 years. We have a president who put forth a budget a month and a half ago. This scares me. That never, ever, ever, ever balances. Never. I don't know how you can do that. So here come the Republicans, and you may not like what the Republicans did, but they said, I know Medicare is going to be insolvent in 8 years, and so I'm going to propose a reform. I know a lot of people won't like it, but I hope we get a discussion started. I know as a country, we're $16 trillion in debt right now, and that's a problem. So I'm going to cut spending and try to balance the budget. Now, even the big bad Paul Ryan budget, the big bad Republican budget, that big mean Republican budget, don't take that part. It doesn't even balance for 28 years. The Republican budget. And that big bad Ryan Republican budget says to all of us, if you're 55 or older in this country, nothing changes. When it comes to Medicare, Social Security, nothing changes. Because even we were so afraid to talk honestly to seniors. Now, I know we have nobody 55 or older in this room. But so you know, if you're 55 or older, you're done, you're set. We just said for folks younger, we're going to have to do something different or it won't be there for them. I am tired of politicians who don't have the courage to look the American people in the eyes and say, we got a problem, we got to do something about it. You may not like what the Republicans said, but at least they acknowledged we have a problem and we got to do something about it. I'm going to stop there. going to introduce a doc and a private insurance expert. I'm going to give them a few minutes to talk about a subject, thank you, and then we're going to open it up to just our informal Q&A. And I'd like our informal Q&A to focus on Obamacare, healthcare, Medicare, sort of all in that wall. And let's walk out of here in about an hour, at least having learned something, wherever we are on the issue. And remember my ground rule, respect each other. Dr. Rich Ferrolo, come on up.
Wait, need the microphone? Should I grab it?
No, he's good.
Okay.
I'll cut you off too, don't worry.
I thought I was a dinosaur already. I'm a single doctor, family doctor, working myself. And I'm here because I want to work for you. I see a lot of seniors here. You guys are my favorite patients. It's my lowest paying patient base, my favorite patients. You guys treat us with utmost respect. You guys come in, doc, you need to cut the hand off, cut more. Go ahead, you know what you're doing. Compared to the Generation Xers, they spend 20 minutes on the internet, and I got to debate medicine.
By the way, folks, if you can't hear him, raise your hand. I'm going to put the mic in front of him. Go ahead, Rich.
I want to work for you. I don't want to work for the government. I don't want to work for the healthcare industry or the hospital. I have a moralistic problem with that because when you come to me, you're my boss. When I work for them, they're my boss. That's simple. Now, I'm going to tell you what I told Joe the first night I met him. And the same thing I've been telling my patients since Hillary Care. Any politician, I don't care what side of the aisle, who talks about fixing the healthcare system without fixing the legal system, either number one, doesn't understand the problem. That's a nice way of saying he's not so smart. Or number two, he's ignoring the problem. That's a nice way of saying he's corrupt. What I mean by corrupt is they're putting the lawyers before the patient. Okay? You guys should be put first. You guys should be in charge of your health care. Not the government, not your insurance company, not your employer. Now, we all have different views on health care, but I bet we would all agree it's too expensive. Too expensive. Obamacare does nothing to make it less expensive. Nothing. What can we do to make it less expensive? A couple things. Tort reform. We'll talk about that. How the FDA approval process. How we handle the end of life and patient responsibility. Tort reform. Most people think tort reform is lowering my malpractice. That is the smallest part. Bigger is product liability. Every piece of medical equipment, every drug, even the car that you drive, there's product liability put into this. The costs are astronomical. Most of you, I hope, had your flu shot. Half the cost of that, product liability. A pint of blood, third, product liability. That's got to change. Reduce the lawsuits and reduce the cost. Now, lawsuits. The lawsuits doctors face are astronomical. Now, there's a difference between malpractice and mal-outcome. I'm sure a lot of you got some good docs. Some are great docs. But no matter what they do for you, we're all going to die. Now, that's not malpractice, that's a bad outcome.
Oh, go ahead.
That's a bad outcome. But it's not malpractice. Unfortunately, as physicians, we get sued for mal-outcome. And as society, we all pay for it. Just like the lady who put the hot cup of coffee between her legs and burned herself. We all pay for that next time we go to McDonald's. This has to stop. The insurance company I work for, 87% of the cases of malpractice, the doctors win. We have to stop all those cases going to trial. It's too expensive. How can we make these less costly? Well, how about lowering the contingency fees for lawyers? Please, if there's any lawyers sneaking behind me, let me know. I don't want to get there. It's a third. Why not make it 10%? Plus, if you want to bring a malpractice suit, let's say it goes against a board, 3 doctors, 3 lawyers. They decide if it's malpractice. And if it is, you go through the normal process. If it's not, you can still sue, but loser pays. As physicians, when we get sued, we risk our homes.